Hello guys, I'm CBMF Productions, and welcome back to the DC film Retrospective. Today's film is based on the Justice League's weirdest member to say the least, Aquaman. This film was in development as early as 2003, but was in development hell for over a decade until after Man of Steel came out. Around this time, Zack Snyder and Jeff Johns teased upcoming future DC films in their own cinematic universe. Alongside a BVS movie and a Wonder Woman movie, an Aquaman film was also in that discussion. In 2014, Jason Momoa was cast in the role for BVS. The next year, famous horror director James Wan got hired to direct a film based on his previous film Furious 7, his first step in the big blockbusters that only came out a few months prior at the time and smashed all box office records. The film got its stacked cast together, and although it was pushed a few months back from its July 2018 release date, it still came out that year and was a massive hit, bigger than anybody expected. It got fairly decent reviews, nothing much to write home about, but remains the highest grossing DCEU film, with it being the only one so far to gross over $1 billion at the box office. As a result, Warner Bros. Greenlit a sequel scheduled for December 2022, with Wan returning to direct as the time of this recording, along with a Trent spin-off film in the works also. But anyways, with the history out of the way, let's get into the plot. The film starts out in 1985 when the main lighthouse keeper, Thomas Curry, played by Tamara Morrison, found Princess Helena, not to be confused by the city, played by Nicole Kidman, on shore and rescued her. They soon after fell in love and had a son Arthur, who has the power to communicate with other sea creatures, along with various other strengths from his mom. When Arthur was little, her mom got captured by her old fiancé, where she fled from her arranged marriage in Atlantis, and was forced back to the sea, and was supposedly executed for having a half-breed son in Arthur. Elena asked Nudi's Volko, played by Willem Dafoe, to train Arthur, and as he grows up, once he learns what happened to his mom, he returns being a part of Atlantis, his rightful kingdom, and lives on the shores of Maine with his dad, helping out people when he can after the events of Justice League. Meanwhile, a group of DC robbers invade a submarine, which Arthur, also known as the Aquaman, quickly stops their plan, but their leader, Jesse, ends up getting stuck and drowns, so his son David, played by Yaha Abdul Mateen II, vows revenge on Aquaman. Meanwhile, in Atlantis, Arthur's half-brother King Orm Marius, also known as Ocean Master, played by Patrick Wilson, wants to declare war on the surface because of the humans polluting the oceans. He convinces King Nereus, played by Dolph Lundgren, to join him, but only if he gets support from the other kingdoms to join them. So Orm goes to each and every kingdom, and convinces some of the kingdoms to join him, but the kingdoms that don't, he kills the king and forces them to join. Meanwhile, Mera, who's betrothed to Orm, similar to Alana, goes up to the surface to convince Arthur to fight Orm, and take the throne of Atlantis to stop this war. But he doesn't care about this war until Orm generates a massive storm in Maine, almost killing Arthur's dad. They reluctantly goes to Atlantis with Mera and Volko to find Orm, in a battle which he loses and the trident gets broken. So he and Mera go on the globe-trotting quest to find the lost trident of Atlan. They go to the Sahara Desert, Sicily, and more while Orm finds David and gives him special weapons so he can use to kill his brother with. He modifies it to an oversized laser headpiece and calls himself Black Manta. After retrieving the coordinates in the Sahara Desert, Mera and Arthur are chased by Black Manta in Sicily, where he gets defeated and Arthur is wounded, but survives. He and Mera go to the trench where all the sea monsters live, and trying to find the trident in an uncharted sea at the center of the earth, where they find Alana, who wasn't actually dead after being thrown into the trench, because she found this uncharted territory and stayed here all this time. She encourages Arthur to get the trident and face off against Carathan, a big leviathan monster that the trident is surrounded by. He talks to the monster, which grants him access to the trident, as he dons his classic orange and green costume, and now with the trident, has control of the 7 seas. He goes to war with Orm and his army, with the help of Carathan in the trench, as Orm's army turns to Arthur as the new king with his trident, as Orm and Arthur face off, ending with Arthur winning, but sparing Orm's life, and they make amends once Orm sees that their mom is alive. The film ends with Arthur dying the throne of Atlantis with Mera by his side, as he is the new king of Atlantis, as credits roll to a post-credit scene of Black Manta, who's presumed dead earlier in the film after being thrown off a cliff in Sicily, being saved by Dr. Stephen Shin, played by Randall Park, a crazy scientist and conspiracy theorist obsessed with Atlantis, on the news, as shown in the opening of the film, as he plans to help out Manta to get his revenge on Arthur in the sequel as credits roll. This film's another step in the right direction for the DCEU, and being a fun, lighthearted, fast-paced adventure, what characters we care for. The movie takes the absurdity of Aquaman in this world and cranks it up to 11. James Wan's directing, like Furious 7, is so energetic and fluid, ranging from a variety of action scenes from hand-to-hand combat to the big battle in the third act. All of it's handled well, and it shows that one can easily transcend the different genres, but not forgetting his horror roots in some areas, like the trench section. Jason Momoa gets to embrace his bizarre character more so than ever before in his universe, and he takes that in stride. Most of the acting is very solid from Willem Dafoe, playing a different comic role than Willem Dafoe.
Hello, my dear.
Sorry, come on, I had to make that joke. Patrick Wilson gets to have a ball here as Ocean Master and really hands it up for the role. All the other actors and actresses work well in this film too. The score feels epic throughout and helps keep the tone consistent. The costume and production design, apart from the wigs, all look great, especially Arthur's suit at the very end. It has this grand Indiana Jones-like feel to it that makes it unique in this universe, and overall it's very entertaining. Starting off, this film does not look good. I don't know if it's the cameras they use, the lighting, the CG, whatever it is, this film doesn't look theatrical. It looks like a Disney Channel original movie, based off how stark and overlooked the whole film looks, along with the immense use of CGI, which to be fair, you couldn't have done this film practically like a Batman film, but a lot of the CG is just giving me Justice League vibes, and looking unfinished, especially with the way characters' hair move underwater, and the backwards people have throughout the film. The film also feels like it ripped out other comic book movies, the most obvious comparison being Black Panther, from the inner conflict of family members, the main hero losing and going on a quest, while the bad guy starts a war because of his idea ideologies, the overuse of CGI mainly being set in the fictional location, and more. Although I don't believe DC stole from Marvel, it isn't a coincidence that both these films came out in the same year. The romance in the films doesn't really work for me either, and although Mara and Arthur spent most of the film together, I didn't really feel a connection there. The film's villains felt very underdeveloped, with Black Manta being more forced than any other character in the film, feeling like he was just there to be set up in the sequel, and Orm being your stereotypical bad sibling to fight off our hero, and he and Arthur don't get much screen time in the film, beyond their initial battle which felt very much like Thor Ragnarok. I wish they could have utilized him better. All Volko, King Nereus, and other characters that feel rushed into a film that's 2.5 hours long, which can drag a little bit towards the end especially. And there's some stuff that could have been cut along with the soundtrack, which made the pop songs of this film feel so out of place and take me out of the film entirely. Lastly, the film has so many inconsistencies from Justice League, which I know they wanted to separate themselves from, but you can't escape those films where you have the same actors in their roles. Anyways, the film changes so many fundamental roles, from how people can talk underwater to the look of Atlantis. It's fun, but it's quite a mess at points. Overall, Aquaman is a good but very flawed film. It has good acting, production design, directing, keeping that fun time that Wonder Woman had, and changing the universe up for the better, over-the-top action, a good score, embracing what makes Aquaman and his world so unique, and being a fun dumb blockbuster. But it does have a lot of similarities to other comic movies that feel more than just coincidences, a bad soundtrack, bad lighting, and an overall bad look to it, boring romance, uninteresting side characters, ignoring continuity from other DC films, has a bloated runtime, and could have a couple more tries to clean up these issues. But for what it is, I had a good time with it and I enjoyed it overall. I give Aquaman a B-, a 7 out of 10, and a rental recommendation. So that's Aquaman. What do you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I'm CBMF Productions, and this isn't the last DC film to review because justice needs to be served.